So as you can see, there's a lot going on in here. I'm gonna give you a couple tips here, okay? Because I know there's a couple of you in the that want to do shops and welcome back. Sorry for the delay in videos. I'm still trying to edit up some of the other ones I got done. Today, a quick video while I'm doing that to get you guys in the loop here. I know we've been talking about the shop for a while here, but I wanted to give you a quick update on where we're at. So I'm just going to do a quick video and a walkthrough. And this is where we're going. Come on in. So as you can see, there's a lot going on in here. I'm going to give you a couple tips here, okay? Because I know there's a couple of you in the that want to do shops and yada yada. But this is a small shop, in my opinion, because this is all I had to work with. And what we have over here is the furnace and hot water tank, which I had to close off. And I put plastic behind this pegboard so that everything was nice and airtight for dust and everything. So this whole room actually is covered in plastic behind this, because I didn't want anything to get into the storage room, which is over there, or the furnace room. And then being that I did that, this is now an enclosed room. So to get air into the furnace room, the first thing I had to do was this pipe here actually draws in air from outside, so that goes into the furnace room, and the furnace, whenever it kicks on, it'll draw in air from the outside. So I had to do that to make sure fresh air got into the furnace room, because it was all sealed off. The biggest thing I did was the pegboard, because in a shop you need storage. So the first thing you're thinking about is storage. This way it gives me the options, and this is not the final setup, this is just where I stuck stuff to hang it up. But this gives me an unlimited amount of where I want to set up and how many things I can hang on the wall and everything, because now I have paper towel holders, I have everything, I can put all my rulers, you know what I mean? And you could just literally, it's unlimited. I bought little screw holder containers here. So I have all my screws organized in there, and it's just perfect. I can put it wherever I think I'm going to need it. You know, when I'm done working this all out, I can see exactly where it is, and I'll be able to put it in there, so it's perfect. The other problem I was facing is this room is approximately 17 foot wide this way, and I knew I wanted to run 8-foot pieces down here. And the only way I could do that is by centering the table saw. So a lot of thought went into how I'm going to set this up to be able to pull that off. So what I ended up doing is I put the table saw in the middle. I built this 4-foot outfeed table, which I put some T-track into if you didn't see the video. And then I had to cut in the slots so when I use my jigs, it'll ride right into there and it won't interfere. So that's my outfeed table. So when I run big pieces, they all go right down here, and it's set up to slide right onto there so it catches everything. But then it's also a workbench, because I have to have a workbench, and I don't have a lot of room in here to have a separate workbench. So that's why I put the T-track in there, and I have all the clamping system from Rockler. So that works perfect. I can clamp stuff down, I can sand it, and we'll get back to the dust collection later. Now the drill press is here. That seemed like the most ideal spot. I put the fence on it. And then I obviously added a little holder here for the bits and everything, but that works perfect right there. I finally brought my bandsaw down, which was in the shed. So that's sitting right there for now. I think I'll probably leave it there, but I'm not positive yet, because there's really not a lot of options of where I can put it. And for now, just ignore the wood here. That's for our next project. But I'm stacking all my wood products here as far as plywood, because that's the one flat wall. I'll probably end up moving these hooks over somewhere else just so I can fit taller stuff over there too. Now over here was really the only spot that worked for the miter saw stand, okay, which isn't completely completed. You can see I started building the dust box. I got my dust collection running here, but this is actually going to have a whole fence system on it still that I still have to build, and then I'll probably do some kind of thing here. These are also just boards for the next project that I just stuck up there. So right now I have toolboxes underneath here, so the whole bottom is open. So you can see I got my rolling cart underneath here. I'll probably do something over here, I'm not sure what, but you can see I slid my horses and everything down under there, which is perfect. But that's the miter box. Okay, so this is the miter saw stand. Now back to the table saw situation and not running 8-foot things. I built this with a metal beam, and the reason I did that is because then I could put this piece in here, which is the same level as the table saw. Okay, And then what happens is I pop this piece out, and I can stick an 8-foot piece, if you can see all the way back there. I can stick it all the way back, almost to the wall, and then 8 foot sits right on this edge right here, so right before the blade. And then what I can do is this actually, so that actually holds the piece, and then I can feed it this way, and then that is just over 8 feet to that wall. So it's like 8'6" that way, 8'6" this way. It works perfect. You actually have your own holder here, so you don't have to do anything. You just stick the board back in here, line it up on here, lay it down, and then get in position and run it through. So that was the biggest thing I had to figure out. Now by doing that, it raises this countertop up. If you imagine, it normally would have been down here, but I had to raise it up. That's why I did this, because otherwise this would have been too tall right here to support that, and then the bench would have been even higher. But being that I'm 6'3", it doesn't bother me at all, because I'm still at this level. So it's actually, I mean, it's probably almost better for me in particular. But that's where this is all mounted, this is all down. Like I said, that little beam was what made up this whole situation right here. Without that, I wouldn't have been able to do 8-foot pieces. I obviously ran air down, so I have a retractable hose that goes up to the compressor in the garage, so I just teed off of that. So if I need to do any air projects down here, I have a nice hose there to hook that up. Over here, I put up my lumber rack. So now I have all my, and this is 8 foot long here, so it just almost clears the door, but it'll work for perfectly. I mean, there's not really many places I can do an 8-foot rack. So that actually works good there. As you know, I don't know if you saw the previous videos, I have Alexa down here. I have a power switch for, which is my filter, which is just a box fan with a filter on it. And that gets the fine stuff when I'm down here working for a little while. I can just actually turn that on by voice control, or I can do it by my phone, whatever. The actually smart switch will turn that on for me. So it works out perfect. Over here I have more wood. So I mean, this was useless space, so I just kind of stacked my pieces up here, leftover tools, jigs. And then over here I have all my jigs on the wall, and then my clamp system obviously, and then I put my charger up over here, and then that's where all the drills hang up there. And then I have a couple other racks. So I just kind of, like I said, nothing's in its final place. I just kind of stuck it where I thought I might use this, and this is where the workbench is going to be. All the hand tools would probably be best over there. And then if you can see underneath here, I'll bring you down. This is what the underneath of the workbench looks like. So what I did is I added a power strip here so I can plug in sanders and stuff. And then I got my planer down here, which eventually I'm going to do something with. I'm not sure. I'll probably build a rolling cart for it. I have not decided yet. But if you can see down here, these are the jigs, by the way, for the T-Track. So I have a whole bunch of those. But this actually gets wired back to the outlet, which is back there. Then underneath here is another one of these, which the shop vac and the other power tools over there plug into. Because what happens is, this is my dust collection system, and it runs all underneath here. I don't know if you can see underneath it. Let's see if I can get in a little closer here. So if you can see underneath here, over here, this is obviously the dust collector for the big particles, and then these are all T-wise and everything running underneath here, and then the shop vac is over there. So when I turn it on, it comes back. And then over here I have another outlet which I added. You can see there's a blast gate on it. So what this does is this for hooking up my hose here, and then I can hook this up to my sander and everything else, so then I get anything I'm working with on the bench I can hook up real easily. And then if you look at the top here, I have one of these bench sweeps. So this has its own gate valve right here, so I can open that up. I could sweep everything off here into here, and it'll suck it all up. Then if you see along the line here, the dust collection, this is for the table saw, so I can open that up. This is for the router, which is right here, so I can open that up. And then I put one on the end here, and that actually hooks up to this hose, which is the custom made dust collection on the fence here, which I just notched out. So when I'm drilling, it actually just sucks it right in there. It's real nice. But at the same time, that works twofold, because then I could pull this off like so, and then what I could do is I can sweep the floor up. So I have my sweep right here. I just hook that up like so, and then I turn it on. And what I ended up coming up with, if you can see it, so I can just sweep the floor like this and pick everything up. But what I ended up doing is, instead of coming up with some way to switch on the dust collector, I actually just set it up so I can just flick on the drill press. And you hear the dust collection come on. So when I need, it's set to go off after a couple seconds when the machine's off. So if I need to vacuum the floor, I just flip on the drill press, it'll kick on the dust collection, and then I just make sure the gate's open and I can go vacuum the floor. So it actually works out perfect that way. So it took a lot of thought. You know, I'm storing stuff underneath here for drill press accessories and such, and that's it. And I don't know if you've seen the earlier videos, this is all mounted to the workbench so it doesn't move around, so it's nice and sturdy. So if you have any questions, please comment. This is just a quick rundown. Obviously it's not done, I still got to finish this miter table and everything, but if this might give you some ideas. Obviously the lights, I don't know if you saw the lights, those are actually just LED lights, and I have outlets in the ceiling so I can plug it all in, and then it runs to the switch outside so I can turn everything on and off outside. So that's it. Dust collection, I could have ran it over and did one shop vac, but instead I thought it was easier just to do 2 separate units. So I have one underneath the workbench and one over here, and then I might add another outlet over here for any accessories too that I might be using. I might use the planer over here, I don't know yet. So there's still a lot more to go, but hopefully this gives you some ideas on how to make it work in such a small area, because this is by far not even the size of a garage, because you have this corner bump out here. So that's it. I mean, hopefully it gave you some ideas. Leave me some comments if you got questions or anything else, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. I still got that landscape one that I'm editing, and I'm gonna do some home automation stuff in the next couple videos too, because my camera company that I got my Wise cams from, they actually came out with some door sensors and stuff that connect to the Wise cams. So we're going to try those out. I'm going to do a video on it. And then I also am trying to smart my fireplace, which I found out there's a way you can do that. So I'm going to get that kit, and we're going to see if we can get, you know, Alexa to control the fireplace, which I think would be really cool. So stay tuned. Like the video, okay, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Make sure you look me up on social media. I usually post more pictures on there, giving you an idea what's coming up, and keep following, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care.